The darkness between the stars was absolute, but within it, a single shape moved with impossible precision. A Terran warship, colossal and silent, glided like a predator through the void, its hull forged from alloys unknown to any alien empire. Generations had whispered that humanity was gone, scattered, or erased. They had believed in myths of extinction. Yet here it was, alive, deliberate, awake. Inside, the command chamber pulsed with soft, humming energy. Ancient systems, dormant for centuries, surged to life as if stirred by memory itself. Holographic star charts lit the room, displaying fleets, colonies, and long-forgotten patrol routes in shifting, luminous patterns. Every line, every coordinate, carried centuries of accumulated knowledge. The ship did not merely navigate, it calculated, anticipated, and commanded before any threat had even noticed its presence. A scout fleet of the Orlith Dominion emerged on sensors, small and confident, unaware that the moment they glimpsed humanity again, fear would take root. Their vessels were sleek, armed with advanced energy weapons and shields, yet utterly unprepared for what had awakened. The Terran ship waited, observing, measuring, learning. Its engines thrummed in resonance with the void, a sound too deep to be heard and yet impossible to ignore, a heartbeat of inevitability. The human aboard moved with calm precision. Every motion was informed by history, by strategy, by the memory of losses endured and lessons learned. Fingers traced holographic overlays, initiating systems long thought lost. The ship's hull glimmered with protective energy, panels aligning like metallic feathers, bending light, refracting sensors. This was not a mere warship. This was a living monument to human ingenuity, to pride, to defiance. The scout fleet advanced, their sensors flickering as the Terran vessel subtly revealed itself, a shimmer at first, then a spectral form, finally undeniable. Alarms flared across alien bridges, a wave of recognition and terror spreading faster than any weapon could fire. Humanity was not extinct. Humanity had returned, and it carried a vengeance forged over centuries of exile. The Terran ship did not fire immediately. It did not need to. Its presence alone altered the balance of fear, a silent declaration of mastery. Every sensor reading, every visual signature, every calculation made by the alien fleet screamed warning, but no one dared acknowledge it fully. This was a predator beyond comprehension. The first pulse of the ship's energy field rippled outward, subtle yet profound, brushing against the shields of the alien vessels, testing, probing, asserting dominance without a single shot. The galaxy had long forgotten the power of a species that survived when all else said it could not. And now, as the Titan-class warship positioned itself with cold deliberation, the first alien fleet realized that they were not merely facing a ship. They were facing humanity incarnate, a force that would not bow, would not yield, and would never again be underestimated. The alien fleet hesitated, sensors straining to interpret the anomaly before them. Dread curled through their command circuits, a signal humans might have called fear, though they did not yet realize the gravity of what floated silently in the void. The Titan-class warship moved with a patience born of centuries, every microsecond of its course calculated with deadly intent. Its hull gleamed faintly under the distant starlight. Edges cutting across nebulae like a blade suspended in space, a predator among the stars. Inside, the human aboard traced patterns across the holographic displays, studying every vessel, every weakness, every formation. Knowledge was power, and the Terran ship carried centuries of it. Centuries of lost battles, of broken worlds, of innovations honed in secret. The alien fleet had never known that humanity survived, let alone evolved beyond their understanding. The warship pulsed in quiet resonance, not with violence, but with the certainty of inevitability. It was an echo of a species that had endured against every cosmic force arrayed against it. A distant star flared in the void, reflecting off the hull in patterns that seemed almost deliberate, like a silent warning. The first alien scouts surged forward, their engines bright with arrogance, convinced their speed and numbers could compensate for the unknown. But the Terran ship anticipated every move. Its sensors mapped energy signatures, weapon alignments, shield harmonics, even the neural patterns of alien operators in milliseconds. This was not brute force. This was intelligence honed into a weapon far sharper than any blade or cannon. The first strike came as a pulse of energy so subtle the aliens barely registered it. It was not meant to destroy but to assert dominion. Their shields wavered, instruments scrambled, and their formation began to fracture under the invisible pressure. The Terran warship advanced slowly, deliberately, its presence alone reshaping the battlefield. The human at the command deck moved with calm focus, orchestrating not attacks, but consequences. Every system within the ship responded as though alive, shifting, adapting, learning in real time. The alien fleet commander called for full engagement, and weapons flared across the void. Beams of violet energy tore through the darkness, aimed with deadly precision, yet the Titan-class hull absorbed, deflected, and adapted. Systems long dormant hummed in response, shields reconfiguring mid-strike, energy pulses dancing along the hull like living veins of light. The first salvo hit, and the aliens discovered too late that speed and firepower alone could not overcome a mind that thought in centuries rather than minutes. The Terran warship countered, not with aggression, but with inevitability. Targeted bursts of exotic energy cut through the alien fleet's coordination, crippling engines, shorting weapons arrays, and leaving vessels adrift before they could fully comprehend the attack. Chaos rippled through the fleet like a contagion, a symphony conducted by a species that refused to be subjugated. One by one, alien craft faltered, drifting helplessly as if the very fabric of their confidence had been torn apart, yet even as destruction unfolded, the warship remained serene, a monument to control and precision. Nebulae cast streaks of red and violet across its hull, cosmic light reflecting its intent, revealing both beauty and terror. The human watched, eyes steady, as centuries of exile and preparation converged in a single moment. Every pulse, every maneuver, every calculated risk spoke of a species that remembered its past, understood its enemies, and carried the quiet certainty that it had survived for this very hour. The galaxy, vast and indifferent for eons, suddenly realized the implications of this single, silent warship. Humanity had returned, not as refugees or shadows, but as architects of vengeance, strategy, and inevitability. Fleets that once ruled unchallenged now paused, every system across the stars sensing that the rules had changed. The Titan-class warship was not merely a vessel. It was a herald, a statement, a reckoning. In the quiet of the bridge, the human allowed themselves a single breath, steady and unshaken. Around them, ancient systems thrummed, lights reflecting off polished surfaces, a cathedral of ingenuity alive with intent. Outside, alien ships drifted in disarray, the first fleet frozen in terror not by fear of death, but by understanding they faced something that could not be bargained with, something that had no equal. The Terran warship advanced further into the enemy formation. Not hastily, but with patience, savoring the inevitability of consequence. Every pulse of its energy, every flicker of shield and weapon, was a lesson the galaxy would never forget. The first alien fleet had encountered humanity's Titan, and in that moment, space itself seemed to pause, waiting to see what would come next. The galaxy had believed humanity was gone, it had only been waiting. The void itself seemed to recoil as the Titan-class warship moved deeper into the alien formation, its hull gleaming faintly under distant starlight. Each vessel of the Orlith fleet now flinched under scrutiny, their sensors scrambling to interpret anomalies that defied all expectations. Humans were supposed to be extinct. Humans were supposed to be powerless. Every assumption the galaxy had made was unraveling before their very eyes. The Terran warship did not fire indiscriminately. It acted like a predator circling a wounded herd, each movement calculated, deliberate, and inevitable. Its engines hummed in quiet resonance, creating microgravitational eddies that subtly shifted the battlefield, throwing alien formations off balance without them noticing. The human at the command deck observed every ripple, every motion, fingers brushing the holographic controls, orchestrating the chaos with precision born of centuries of experience and strategy. An alien dreadnought attempted to break formation and strike first, its weapon banks flaring in a desperate attempt to assert dominance. But the Terran vessel was already ahead. A pulse of exotic energy, invisible at first, surged along its hull and struck the dreadnought's shields. They shimmered, bent, and finally collapsed under a precision strike that left the alien vessel adrift and helpless. The rest of the fleet staggered in disbelief. Time seemed to stretch as the Terran warship advanced, moving with patience that was both unnerving and terrifying. Each strike it executed was surgical, shorting engine systems, redirecting power from weapons, and isolating key command nodes. No ship exploded. No fleets were obliterated in spectacle. Instead, one by one, the aliens were rendered inert, their coordination shattered, their arrogance dissolved into confusion. Humanity did not need chaos to conquer, intelligence alone was enough. The human aboard moved through the bridge with calm deliberation. Every glance at the holographic overlays revealed weaknesses, every shift in the fleet's formation was noted, calculated, and exploited. The ship itself seemed to breathe, its engines pulsing in harmony with the human's intent, every system alive with purpose. The galaxy had believed humans were fragile, but fragility had never been their nature. Adaptation, patience, intelligence, and pride, that was humanity's weapon, in the distance. A nebula blazed crimson and violet across the void, illuminating the battlefield in harsh, dramatic light. Alien ships glinted and faltered in the shifting glow, their sleek exteriors a stark contrast to the sheer authority radiating from the Titan-class vessel. Energy pulses cascaded along its armor, subtle but undeniable, hinting at technologies long forgotten and rediscovered, technologies designed not merely to survive, but to dominate. The alien fleet commander realized too late that brute force could never overcome foresight. Their largest ships, the pride of the Orlith Dominion, now drifted helplessly, engines dead or malfunctioning, weapon systems disabled. The first wave of the fleet had been broken without a single catastrophic explosion. Humanity had not attacked recklessly, it had outthought them. Every failure, every misstep, had been anticipated, and every countermeasure had been neutralized with calm precision, yet the Terran warship did not pause. It continued forward, scanning, probing, asserting its presence like a living force of nature. Microdrones deployed silently, infiltrating alien systems, redirecting energy flows, and feeding data back to the ship's central processing core. One by one, the remaining vessels faltered, their cohesion undone not by firepower, but by intellect and inevitability. A quiet hum resonated through the command deck, a sound almost imperceptible but profoundly alive. The human exhaled slowly. Eyes steady, reflecting the swirling nebula outside. The galaxy had assumed that humanity was gone, that survival was impossible. Yet here they were, orchestrating a return that would be remembered in every star system, every empire, and every record kept by alien civilizations for millennia to come. The first alien fleet had frozen in terror, not from destruction, but from understanding. They were facing something they had never encountered before, a species that had endured, adapted, and returned with the certainty of inevitability. The Titan-class warship was more than a vessel. It was humanity incarnate, proud, unyielding, and unstoppable, and as the human guided the warship onward, the void itself seemed to whisper a warning across the stars. Humanity had returned, the galaxy would never forget, the silence of the void was deceptive. Beyond the drifting wrecks of the first alien ships, the Orlith Dominion mustered a new wave, a fleet of dreadnoughts, frigates, and carriers larger and deadlier than anything the Terran vessel had yet encountered. Engines blazed across the darkness, weapon banks glowing with predatory intent. They believed overwhelming force could crush this single interloper, a solitary warship that had shattered their first scouts with ease. They were wrong. The Titan-class warship moved like liquid shadow, weaving through gravitational currents with a grace that defied its size. Panels along its hull shifted, realigning energy channels to adapt to incoming assaults. Its engines thrummed softly, harmonics resonating with the void itself, a sound too low to be heard but impossible to ignore, a warning of intelligence and inevitability. The human aboard the command deck surveyed the incoming fleet, eyes reflecting streams of holographic data, every vector, every shield frequency, every potential weakness mapped with perfect clarity. the first volleys erupted, violet beams streaking across the black. Alien dreadnoughts fired simultaneously, their volleys meant to obliterate. Yet the Terran ship did not flinch. Shields harmonized, absorbing, redirecting, and dispersing energy with a precision no brute force could match. Weapons arrays recalibrated mid-strike, adapting to frequencies and targeting patterns, a ballet of survival and superiority conducted with quiet confidence. Microdrones swarmed the edges of the alien fleet, invisible to most sensors, embedding into engines and weapons systems, redirecting energy flows and shorting circuits. Entire ships sputtered to life in confusion, engines faltering, weapons misfiring. Chaos spread through the formation like a virus. The aliens unleashed everything they had, yet the Terran vessel responded with calm inevitability, every maneuver deliberate, every pulse of energy perfectly timed. Nebulae flared in the distance, streaking the void with red and purple light, reflecting off the metallic armor of the warship. The sight was breathtaking, terrifying, beautiful, and alive. Each reflection, each shimmer of energy along the hull, seemed intentional, a warning and a declaration. Humanity had returned, and it would not be ignored. The human aboard the bridge made no sudden movements, no dramatic gestures. Hands traced the holographic overlays with calm precision, initiating system sequences that activated defensive grids, tactical countermeasures, and offensive pulses in perfect synchrony. Every strike against the alien fleet was surgical. Every disruption intentional. Humanity did not need explosions to command the battlefield, it needed only intelligence. Patience, and will. A carrier attempted to break formation, launching waves of fighters meant to overwhelm the lone warship. The Titan-class vessel did not fire blindly. It anticipated, it adapted, it redirected its own energy fields to neutralize engines and guidance systems of the incoming squadrons. Fighters spun helplessly, drifting in the void as if gravity itself had abandoned them. The fleet faltered. The aliens began to realize that size and numbers alone could never defeat a species that understood the nature of space, strategy, and patience. The Terran vessel advanced further, scanning deeper into the enemy formation. Supply lines, command nodes, weak points in shield matrices, all revealed by centuries of preparation and knowledge. Systems hummed as energy pulses ran along armor plating, shifting like living tissue, absorbing, redirecting, and striking at will. Each move demonstrated not just firepower, but the unrelenting intelligence of humanity incarnate. The alien fleet commander's orders came too late. Dreadnought after dreadnought faltered, carriers drifted powerless, and formations broke apart in disarray. Humanity's strategy was flawless, not because it relied on technology alone, but because it combined instinct, experience, and moral certainty with every calculated strike. In the quiet moments between pulses of energy, the human aboard the bridge allowed a breath. Outside, the void stretched endlessly. Yet it was no longer empty. It was alive with consequence, with lesson, with a warning. The galaxy had believed humanity was gone. It had underestimated what patience, intelligence, and pride could create. The first fleets had fallen. The Terran ship pressed onward, its presence alone reshaping the battlefield. The galaxy had begun to understand a truth it had long forgotten. Humanity had awakened. The remnants of the Orlith fleet reeled under the precision of the Titan-class warship. Dreadnoughts drifted powerless, carriers struggled to maintain formation, and squadrons of fighters spun aimlessly through the void. Yet the Terran vessel did not pause. Every sensor pulse, every micro-adjustment of energy, every deployment of microdrones was part of a larger design, a lesson in strategy that no fleet could ignore. The human aboard the bridge studied the battlefield with unblinking focus. Centuries of exile and preparation had led to this exact moment. Every calculation, every dormant system, every hidden advantage within the warship now converged with purpose. The ship moved like a living organism, anticipating the next strike, neutralizing threats before they could materialize, and exploiting weaknesses with surgical precision. The alien fleets were being rewritten in real time, every ship rendered a pawn in humanity's orchestration. A super dreadnought attempted a desperate gambit, firing its full complement of weapons in unison. Beams of violet and crimson energy tore across space, meant to obliterate the Terran vessel. But it was ready. Shields pulsed with harmonic resonance, absorbing and redirecting energy. Systems once thought lost flared to life, channeling the alien power back toward their engines and control cores. One by one, the dreadnought's weapon systems failed, engines sputtered, and the massive ship drifted inert, a monument to miscalculation. The warship advanced further into the heart of the fleet, the galaxy itself seeming to hold its breath. Supply lines, command nodes, and orbital stations, all fell under the scrutiny of the Terran sensors. Tiny adjustments in energy distribution, minute shifts in position, subtle pulses of force, and carefully deployed drones dismantled the Empire's carefully constructed network without a single catastrophic explosion. Humanity's mastery was in precision, patience, and intelligence, a symphony of strategy that overwhelmed the alien arrogance. Even as chaos spread through the fleet, the Titan-class warship remained serene. Nebulae blazed in the distance, painting the battlefield with streaks of red, violet, and sapphire. Stars glimmered, reflecting off the hull like silent witnesses to the return of a species once thought lost. The human aboard the bridge moved through the data streams. Calm and deliberate, eyes tracing every weakness, every disruption, every opportunity. Humanity did not need to destroy blindly, it needed only to orchestrate, and the galaxy yielded to their design. The alien fleet commander realized too late that brute force could never overcome a mind that thought in centuries rather than minutes. Carriers faltered, dreadnoughts drifted, and squadrons of fighters collapsed into chaos. The first wave of the Empire's fleet was broken, not by explosions or firepower alone, but by the quiet, relentless certainty of a species that had endured, adapted, and evolved in exile. The Terran warship paused briefly near a shattered moon, engines glowing softly. Shields shimmering with faint pulses of energy. The human aboard allowed a slow breath, surveying the battlefield with the calm of one who knows the outcome is already written. Across the stars, the galaxy began to understand what the Orlith fleet had just learned. Humanity had returned, not as supplicants or refugees, but as architects of its own reckoning. The ship advanced again, faster now, striking at remaining weak points with calculated elegance. Each pulse, each micro-move, each energy field disrupted entire formations without a shot fired. The alien fleets flinched, faltered, and finally realized the immutable truth. A species that refuses to bow cannot be defeated by force alone. The first alien fleet had fallen. Others would come. Others would test humanity's resolve. But in this moment, the galaxy understood the singular lesson the Terran warship imparted. Intelligence, patience, and pride were weapons more powerful than fleets, more enduring than empires, and more lethal than fear itself. And humanity moved forward, unshaken, unstoppable, and unstoppable in their certainty. The void stretched endlessly, silent except for the soft hum of the Titan-class warship. Across hundreds of light-years, the galaxy had begun to whisper of humanity's return. Systems once thought lost to alien dominion now shimmered with potential. Colonies that had whispered legends of extinct humans now felt the pulse of a species that had endured, evolved, and returned with a certainty that could not be denied. The Terran vessel glided through the remnants of shattered fleets, untouched and deliberate. Its hull bore the scars of centuries, yet gleamed like a monument to survival and ingenuity. Every system hummed in harmony, weapons arrays ready, shields pulsating with energy that reflected both defensive mastery and lethal intent. Humanity did not strike for vengeance. Humanity struck for remembrance, for presence, for the assertion of will across the stars. The human aboard the bridge moved among the holographic displays with quiet precision. Fingers traced star charts, fleet formations, and enemy coordinates with calm deliberation. Every decision carried the weight of countless generations, every pulse of energy a testament to the resilience, intellect, and pride of a species that had been counted out and dismissed. The galaxy had assumed silence meant surrender. It was about to learn that silence was strategy, patience, and inevitability. A new fleet emerged on the sensors, larger and more imposing than any the Terran ship had yet encountered. Super dreadnoughts, carriers, and orbital platforms surged forward, confident in numbers and firepower. But the Titan-class vessel did not hesitate. Systems flared to life, energy channels aligned with mathematical perfection, microdrones deployed, and shield harmonics danced across the hull in patterns designed to anticipate every strike. The first salvo hit. Beams of violet and crimson energy ripped across space, meant to obliterate. Yet the Terran warship remained serene, its shields absorbing and redirecting with surgical precision. Engines pulsed in harmonic resonance, subtly shifting position to exploit gravitational currents and destabilize enemy formation. Every attack was countered before it could land, every weakness exploited without a shot wasted. The human aboard the bridge allowed a single, calm breath. Centuries of planning, survival, and innovation converged in this moment. The alien fleet faltered. Super dreadnoughts drifted, carriers spun helplessly, and squadrons of fighters lost coordination in the chaos of precision strikes. Humanity's return was not marked by firepower alone, but by intelligence, foresight, and the quiet, unstoppable weight of inevitability. Nebulae cast brilliant reds and violets across the void, reflecting off the hull like a living beacon. The warship advanced deeper into the enemy formation, dismantling their structures piece by piece. Supply lines collapsed, command nodes faltered, and the once proud fleets of the Orlith Dominion now struggled against a force they could not comprehend. They had underestimated a species that could think in centuries, plan across generations, and strike with patience beyond their comprehension. Finally, the last dreadnought drifted in silence, engines dead. Weapons cold. The Terran warship passed by without pause, leaving a testament of mastery in its wake. The galaxy had believed humanity gone, powerless, forgotten. The galaxy had been wrong. The humans stepped back from the command dais, eyes tracing the endless expanse, chest rising with calm inevitability. Humanity had returned. Humanity had endured. Humanity had won the right to be remembered, and as the ship glided into the dark between stars, a quiet truth echoed across the cosmos: we are here, we endure, and we will never bow. The stars themselves seemed to pause, as if the universe had just witnessed the rise of something it could no longer ignore.